So, thank you so much for joining us. You want to look at the camera, look at Michael. And the first question is, why are you running for Auditor General?
I am running for Auditor General because I believe the office requires a strong person with a extreme and intense financial background to be able to go out and be able to protect all of our taxpayer dollars. That's number one. And number two, I have a passion for certain social-based programs, being elderly care programs. And I saw a situation where they were grossly inadequate, and I want to be that champion that is, especially as the Auditor General, to go in and look at the compliance issues, looking at performance-based metrics to see whether or not changes can take place to help our participants that are elderly and disabled. And I think that is a critical thing because that's what we do. We need to take care of our seniors. And if our tax dollars are being spent in a way that is not in compliance with the law, the Auditor General's office, that's the purpose of the office.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you talking about the purpose of the office and staying committed to what it is that the Auditor General's office is supposed to do. One of the things, we have a very diverse state, and so we want to make sure that we're looking at increasing hires in our, in our communities. And so the question that we have next is about commitment to hiring Black folks, people of color.
From the Auditor General's perspective, I believe that there are numerous job training programs that are funded with our tax dollars, and I know that also in terms of whether or not they are efficient and effective. I mean, these are some of the things that as the Auditor General you look at. And you're also able to say, wait a minute, additional funding could help these types of programs increase their productivity, increase the numbers of people that are served, and have a domino effect in terms of helping additional people. And the only person that will look at these programs and communicate that sort of information is the Auditor General.
So can you talk a little bit about your values in diversity and inclusion and bringing diversity and inclusion into the Auditor General's office?
Oh, I am a strong proponent of diversity. I think that there are a lot of untapped talent out there. And I believe that the Auditor General's office, in terms of increasing staffing, should open the office to all qualified candidates regardless of race, creed, or color, sex, or preference. I think that it's about hiring and including the best candidate.
So that is a very important part of making sure that our state offices are representing the state as a whole. And the next question has to do with experience. What is your experience auditing?
My experience is vast and extremely well-rounded and broad. I bring to the table 34 plus years of auditing, accounting management, and accounting operations experience. I developed this experience when I started as a staff auditor, and I worked my way up and was promoted from staff all the way up to a senior audit manager. This included hundreds of audits. This included being able to train and direct and pull various talents out of people. That's the kind of skill that I have, and I also have the various types of audits that I've worked on. We're talking about financial audits. We're talking about compliance audits. We're talking about operational audits, performance and efficiency. These are the things that I've done in my career, and the types of entities that I've audited were federal, state, and local governmental entities, nonprofit organizations. I've even audited city, state, local governments. So when you talk about the Pittsburgh controller, I'm the person that comes in and audit the entire city. And I validate whether or not that person is doing a great job. That's the kind of audit experience that I have.
So that was really helpful because the next question talks about your specific experience or
Yes.
expertise. And so you talked about the difference between state and government and the nonprofit
Yes.
and the corporate world. So do you have a specific expertise that you would like to focus in on, just to talk about what it is that what you would bring to the Auditor General's office?
Absolutely. As a well-rounded and experienced auditor, the types of entities that I've mentioned previously, being federal, state, and local governmental entities, the type of audits that we do are comprehensive annual financial audits, where I am the person that will determine and say, your financial records are properly stated and there are no errors and irregularities. I am the person that signs off on that information. Secondary, there's another type of audit that I do. It's called the single audit, which is a complete assessment of every single program that's funded with any type of public money, being city, state, and local. I'm the person that lead teams that go out and determine, are you in compliance with the rules and regulations? Are you in compliance with the OMB regulations, the CFRs, city, state, and local compliance rules that are, some may be unique for the particular city, but for the most part, every single city, agency in the state is required to have rules and regulations that mirror the federal government.
Okay. So you talked about some areas that you focus in on. Would you like to expound on any other areas, or is there anything else you'd like us to know about your candidacy?
Absolutely. I would like you to know that I have the right, the real, and the relevant experience that will enable the office to excel and exceed. I come to the table with skills that were learned and actually developed from the ground up. I also would like you to know that I've been hearing a lot about the staffing and budgeting issues in the Auditor General's office. I'm an auditor that comes from a situation where you implement 21st century type of strategies where you get more with less by properly and strategizing and planning projects that can have multiple effects. Therefore, you're able to complete them at a reasonable cost and in a timely manner. So I want you to know that I'm the kind of manager that take in consideration, yeah, of course, cost. It matters. But effectiveness matters as well. So I come with that kind of expertise that I can make that happen by combining some 21st century tools, some IT applications, and there's other things that are necessary so that this process can be put into fruition. That's what I would like you to know.
All right, thank you. Thank you for taking the time.
Sure. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks so much.